You know that feeling when you're completely overwhelmed by stress and it seems like everything negative just keeps piling up? Like your brain is stuck in this loop of worry and anxiety and you can't find your way back to feeling, well, normal? What if I told you there's a simple 4-step method that can literally rewire your brain to build resilience and find calm, even in the middle of chaos? Welcome to your Mental Journey Guide. I'm Camilla, and today Henry and I are going to talk about the HEAL method, a powerful tool developed by Rick Hansen that can transform how you handle stress and build lasting inner strength. This tool can transform how you experience life by building your personal resources from the inside out. Henry's been exploring this technique in his own life, and I think you're going to love what we discovered together.
Thanks, Camilla. You know, when I first encountered the HEAL method, I was skeptical. I thought, how can something so simple actually make a difference? But the science behind it is fascinating. Our brains have this natural negativity bias. We're literally wired to focus on threats and problems. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism, but in our modern world, it often works against us.
Exactly. And that's where HEAL becomes so powerful. Henry, can you break down what HEAL actually stands for? Because I think people hear these acronyms and immediately think it's going to be complicated.
It's beautifully simple, actually. HEAL stands for have, enrich, absorb, and link. But here's what makes it different from other techniques. It's not about pretending everything is perfect or forcing positivity. It's about consciously strengthening the positive experiences that are already there, even tiny ones.
That's such an important distinction. We're not talking about toxic positivity here. We're talking about training our attention to notice what's actually working in our lives, no matter how small. I found that people often dismiss the small positive moments because they think they don't matter.
The research shows those small moments matter enormously. Rick Hansen talks about how positive experiences are like Teflon. They slide right off us, while negative experiences are like Velcro. They stick immediately. HEAL helps us make the positive experiences more sticky.
So let's walk through how this actually works. The first step is have, which is really about orientation. Henry, this isn't just about thinking positive thoughts, is it?
Not at all. The have step is about grounding yourself in the present moment through your senses. When we're stressed or anxious, we're usually caught up in our thoughts, worrying about the future, ruminating about the past. But your senses are always in the present. So you consciously shift your attention to what you can see, hear, feel, smell, even taste if that's relevant.
It's like hitting a reset button on your nervous system. When I'm feeling overwhelmed at work, just taking a moment to really notice the temperature of the air on my skin, or the sounds around me, or feel the things it touch, it immediately creates some space between me and whatever was stressing me out.
That space is crucial. When we're in fight or flight mode, our perspective narrows dramatically. We literally can't see the bigger picture. The orientation step helps restore that broader awareness. And from that place, you can actually access resources and solutions that weren't visible before. In the previous episode, we went into this in detail. In this episode, we're going to make it even more powerful.
Which brings us to the enrich step, recognizing positive or pleasant aspects. Now, I know some people listening might be thinking, but what if there really isn't anything positive? How do you work with that?
That's a valid concern, and it's where most people get stuck. Here's the key. You don't need something dramatically positive. You can start with neutral. Maybe there's nothing good happening, but is there something that's at least not threatening? Maybe the chair you're sitting in is comfortable. Maybe the temperature in the room is okay. Maybe you're not in physical pain right now.
Yes, and even those neutral observations can be a form of resource. When you're in a really dark place, not terrible can actually feel like a relief. I remember going through a difficult period where just noticing that my coffee was warm became a tiny anchor of stability.
That's perfect. And as you practice this, you start to notice more. Maybe you catch a glimpse of sunlight coming through the window. Maybe you hear a bird singing. Maybe someone smiled at you earlier in the day. These aren't life-changing events, but they're real, and they're available to you right now.
The third step is absorb, actually experiencing the positive. This is where the real magic happens, because most of us just rush past these moments without really letting them in.
Exactly. We're so conditioned to keep moving, keep doing, keep solving problems. But this step requires you to pause and actually feel the good feelings. Hansen recommends staying with the experience for 30 to 90 seconds. That might not sound like much, but try it. 30 seconds can feel like a long time when you're used to rushing through life. And during those 30 to 90 seconds, you're not just thinking about the positive thing, you're actually feeling it in your body. When 30 seconds isn't possible at that moment, just use the time you do have. Every step you take is a great step. Let's say you've noticed the warmth of sunlight on your face. Instead of just thinking, "Oh, nice sun," you actually pay attention to how that warmth feels on your skin. Maybe you notice your shoulders relaxing. Maybe you feel a slight smile forming. Maybe there's a sense of expansion in your chest, or your breathing becomes a little deeper and easier.
I find it helps to think of it like savoring a really good meal. You don't just gulp it down, you taste it, appreciate the flavors, let yourself enjoy the experience. That's what we're doing with these positive moments.
That's a great analogy. And what's happening neurologically during this absorption phase is remarkable. You're literally building new neural pathways. Each time you consciously absorb a positive experience, you're strengthening the networks in your brain associated with well-being, resilience, and resourcefulness.
Which is why the fourth step is linking. You're connecting this enhanced positive experience back to your current reality. How does this linking process work?
After you've absorbed the positive experience, you come back to orienting to your environment. You look around again, listen, feel your physical sensations. But now you're doing it from this more resourced state. And often, people notice that the world actually feels different. Colors might seem a bit brighter, sounds might be clearer, or there might be a sense of being more connected to their surroundings.
It's like you're integrating this positive resource into your system and then seeing how it changes your relationship with everything around you. I've noticed that after doing this practice, challenges that felt overwhelming a few minutes before suddenly seem more manageable.
That shift in perspective is one of the most powerful aspects of Heal. You're not changing your external circumstances, but you're changing your internal resources for dealing with those circumstances, and that can make all the difference.
Let me share a concrete example from my own life. Last week, I was facing a really tight deadline, and I could feel that familiar panic starting to set in. Instead of just powering through, I took a 2-minute break to practice Heal. I oriented to my senses first, noticed I was sitting in my favorite chair, heard some gentle music playing. Then I recognized that my coffee was still warm and tasted really good. I spent about a minute really savoring that taste and the comfort of holding the warm mug. My shoulders dropped, my breathing slowed down, and I felt this sense of, I'm okay right now. When I linked back to my environment and looked at my work again, the deadline was still there, but it didn't feel like this insurmountable monster anymore. I could think more clearly about how to approach it.
That's such a perfect example because it shows how Heal doesn't make problems disappear, but it gives you access to your resourcefulness and creativity. When we're stressed, our thinking becomes rigid and narrow. When we're in a more balanced state, we can see options and solutions we couldn't access before.
And the beautiful thing is, you can use this anywhere. Henry, can you think of some other situations where Heal might be particularly helpful?
Absolutely. It's incredible for transitions, like when you come home from a stressful day at work. Instead of just collapsing on the couch and scrolling your phone, you could take a moment to notice you're in your safe space. Maybe appreciate the softness of your couch or the fact that you have a home to come back to. Parents find it really useful during chaotic moments with kids. They experience it as finding a tiny pocket of calm in the storm.
I love using it in the morning before I even get out of bed, just taking a moment to feel the warmth and comfort of being under the covers. Sometimes I'm noticing the light coming through the window. It sets such a different tone for the day than immediately jumping into my to-do list.
That's brilliant. And here's something important for people to understand. This isn't about becoming complacent or passive. Building these internal resources actually makes you more effective in your life, not less. When you're operating from a place of balance and vitality rather than depletion and stress, everything you do has more power behind it.
Now, before we guide you through a practice, I want to address something crucial. This tool isn't meant to become another source of pressure or self-judgment. If you try Heal and it feels forced, or if you can't find anything positive, that's okay. The invitation is to be compassionate with yourself and give yourself the time and space to make it work. Don't make it feel like another item on your self-improvement checklist.
That's so important, Camilla. This is a tool to support you when you can access it, not something to beat yourself up about if it doesn't work perfectly every time. Some days you might only get through the orientation step, and that's perfectly valuable too.
Exactly. Now, are you ready to experience Heal for yourself? Henry is going to guide us through a complete practice. Get comfortable and let's do this together.
Great! This new format of a short exercises is a fresh addition to our podcast. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. All right, let's get started. Find yourself a comfortable spot where you can settle in. Close your eyes if that feels right, or just take it easy with your gaze. We're going to start with orientation, also known as the half step. Take a moment to tune in to your physical sensations. Feel the surface beneath you supporting your weight. Notice how the air temperature makes you feel. If you're feeling chill, take a gentle breath in and exhale slowly. Now, expand your awareness to sounds around you. Don't try to change or analyze them, just notice what you can hear. Maybe sounds from inside the room you're in, maybe sounds from further away. Just let your ears be open to whatever is there. You might also notice if there are any scents in the air. Just gently expanding your sensory awareness. Good. Now we move into the enrich step. From this oriented place, I want you to scan your current experience for something that feels even slightly pleasant, comfortable, or at minimum, neutral and safe. This might be the physical comfort of where you're sitting. It might be appreciation for the fact that you're taking time for yourself right now. Maybe there's a sound you find pleasant. Take your time with this. If nothing feels particularly positive right now, look for something neutral, something that at least doesn't feel threatening or unpleasant. There's no rush. As you focus on this positive experience, notice where you feel it in your body. Maybe there's a warmth somewhere, or a softening, or a sense of expansion. Maybe your breathing changes. Maybe there's a slight smile wanting to form. Just be curious about how your body responds to consciously absorbing something good. Have you found something? Good. Now we move into the absorb phase. This is where you're going to spend the next minute really experiencing whatever positive or neutral thing you've identified. If you found physical comfort, really feel into that comfort. Let the good feelings be here. You deserve to feel good. You're not being selfish or wasting time. You're literally building resources in your nervous system that will serve you and everyone around you. Now, for the final step, we have the link step. I want you to slowly come back to orienting to your environment. Look around the space you're in. Listen to the sounds again. Feel your physical sensations again. From this place of having absorbed something positive, how does the world around you feel now? There's no right answer, just notice what you notice. Take one more comfortable breath, and when you're ready, come fully back to the present moment. Thank you for doing this exercise with me.
My whole system settling. The power of Heal is that it's so accessible. You don't need any special equipment, you don't need to be in a perfect environment, you just need a willingness to pause and work with what's actually here.
Yes, it's perfect to adapt in your life at the moments that feel right for you. What I love about this practice is how it builds over time. The more you use Heal, the easier it becomes to access positive resources, even in difficult moments. Your brain literally gets better at noticing and absorbing good experiences. It's like strengthening a muscle.
Speaking of building over time, let's talk about integrating Heal into daily life. This doesn't need to be a formal 20-minute meditation. How can people weave this into their regular routines?
The beauty is in the small moments. You might do a mini Heal while waiting for your coffee to brew. Orient to your senses. Notice something pleasant, maybe the aroma of the coffee. Absorb that pleasure for 30 seconds, then link back to your environment. Or during your commute, maybe you notice beautiful architecture or trees. Take a moment to really appreciate them, then come back to the present.
I've started doing what I call threshold Heal, using doorways as reminders. Every time I walk through a doorway, I take a micro moment to orient, find something to appreciate, absorb it briefly, and then continue. It's amazing how these tiny practices accumulate throughout the day.
That's brilliant. And here's what people can expect as they make this a regular practice. You'll likely notice that you feel more resilient during challenging times. Instead of being completely overwhelmed by stress, you'll maintain some connection to your resources. You might find yourself naturally noticing positive things more often without having to work at it.
One thing I want to emphasize is that this isn't about bypassing difficult emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. Heal works alongside processing challenges, not instead of it. When you have more internal resources, you're actually better able to face difficulties with courage and clarity.
Absolutely. Think of it like building physical fitness. When you're physically strong and healthy, you can handle physical challenges better. Heal builds psychological and emotional fitness, so you can handle life's inevitable ups and downs with more grace and stability.
What should people avoid when they're starting to practice Heal? Are there common mistakes that make it less effective?
The biggest mistake is trying too hard or making it complicated. If you find yourself forcing positive experiences or getting frustrated because you can't find anything good, you're working too hard. Start smaller. Even noticing that your feet are warm in your shoes or that the air you're breathing is clean can be enough. And don't expect dramatic transformation overnight. This is a practice that builds gradually. Some days will feel more effective than others, and that's completely normal. The key is consistency over intensity. Also, remember that this is a tool to use when it feels supportive. If you're in the middle of processing grief or trauma, forcing yourself to find positive things might not be what you need in that moment. Heal is there when you're ready for it.
What I find remarkable is how Heal creates this upward spiral of well-being. The more you practice absorbing positive experiences, the more positive experiences you tend to notice and create. It's like your whole relationship with life starts to shift.
Exactly, and the research backs this up. People who regularly practice techniques like Heal show measurable changes in brain structure. They have increased activity in areas associated with well-being, decreased reactivity in areas associated with stress and anxiety. You're literally rewiring your brain for greater happiness and resilience.
As we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that small, consistent actions create profound change over time. Heal might seem simple, almost too simple to make a real difference, but simplicity is its power. When you're stressed or overwhelmed, you need tools that are accessible, not complicated techniques that require perfect conditions.
The invitation is to experiment with this in your own life. Try it for a week and see what you notice. Pay attention to how it affects not just how you feel, but how you relate to challenges, how creative you are, how connected you feel to the people around you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of the Heal method. If this conversation has been helpful to you, I encourage you to share it with someone in your life who might benefit from these tools as well. Mental health and well-being are things we can support in each other. Please follow your mental journey guide for more conversations that can support you in building the life that you really want, with greater ease, joy, and resilience. Also, make sure you're subscribed on our YouTube channel, where we share a mental insight every day that can help you in your journey. Help us to reach more people by linking, commenting, and sharing this episode.
Your journey, your life, but never alone with your mental journey guide.